Trans rape culture. What am I talking about? What I am talking about is this idea that has been expressed on social media that individuals who are transgender or transsexual are incapable of the crime or the moral violation or the physical action of rape. And the idea that they are incapable of this is predicated on the idea that they do not have power. And how do we know that they do not have power? Because they are the most hated group of all groups. Now, first of all, I would say that this statement is somewhat incoherent. The reason is because by power, I would assume that that individual is probably referring to institutional power, and hatred is not a type of institutional action. Therefore, it does not relate to institutional power, and therefore hatred does not demonstrate that an individual is discriminated against by the institution. But however, let's now actually instead assume that it has to do with cultural power, and that in culture, transgender individuals are hated, therefore they are incapable of rape. But let's actually ask, how does power relate to rape itself? Power, particularly institutional power, is not the power by which rape occurs. How do we know that? By analyzing the act of rape in itself. Rape is a sexual type of event that also involves violence in order to overcome an individual's non-consent. Therefore, one would assume that rape is in some way a form of a sexual violence, or, and more accurately even, a physical action. So if we therefore assume that rape is a physical action, or perhaps even a violent action, then we also have to assume that it is accomplished by physical or violent power. So, in other words, rape is linked to the dynamic of power that we refer to as physical strength. And if rape is indeed linked to physical strength and not to institutional power, then therefore one's status in society and in culture is irrelevant to one's position and opportunity to rape. Because in theory, rape, especially in the countries where transgender individuals are generally accepted, rape happens to be something that is outlawed in most jurisdictions. In fact, even in jurisdictions where rape is perhaps not outlawed, which I think one would be hard-pressed to find, I believe that rape is generally viewed in a very negative light and has very big social repercussions. Therefore, no one is, in theory, in a cultural or in a collective sense, approving of rape. And therefore, rape is, in fact, committed by individuals who are in opposition to this publicly imposed morality. However, if we then assume that rape is linked to physical strength, therefore, it means that institutional power and social license is irrelevant to the act of rape. Therefore, transsexual individuals who have physical strength are in theory capable of rape, unless the statement implies that all transgender individuals are weaklings, which I do not believe that the statement implies. Therefore, I believe it is logical to assume that transgender individuals are indeed capable of raping, just like more normative individuals are. Thank you all for listening, and I will be seeing you all next time. I've been Sargon of the Fortress.